The first sound was not the wind or the birds. It was a low, slow tremble under the ground, like a deep breath being pulled in by the earth itself. A baby elephant froze in place, one tiny foot still lifted, while the yellow dust around it shivered. The little one did not know what the feeling meant, only that something in the air had changed. Its mother stood close, her wide ears lifting as she listened, her body forming a gentle wall around her child. For a moment, the Savannah seemed to hold its breath with them. Then, just as suddenly, the trembling faded. The wind returned, brushing softly over the cracked yellow soil. Far above, a bird cried out and then went silent. The baby elephant blinked and set its foot down, letting out a soft, curious trumpet, as if to say, the world was safe again. Its mother relaxed just a little, lowering her head and touching the baby's side with her trunk in a calm, loving way. The morning sun spread across the African savanna like warm gold. The land was wide and open, with no tall trees or thick bushes, only rolling yellow soil and a sky that seemed to go on forever. Dust moved in thin lines across the ground, pushed by a light wind that smelled of dry earth and distant rain. This was a place of quiet strength, where every animal had learned to listen closely and move carefully. The baby elephant walked beside its mother, small legs still a bit shaky, but full of wonder. Every few steps, it would stop to poke the ground with its short trunk or kick a bit of dust into the air. To the baby, the savanna was a giant playground, full of strange smells and new sounds. Its soft trumpets were not loud or proud yet. They were small, sweet calls, like questions sent into the open sky, not far away. At the edge of this wide-open land, a massive silverback gorilla stood still. His dark fur was thick and strong, dusted lightly with yellow soil. His deep eyes moved slowly across the plains, taking in every detail. He did not belong fully to this open space. Gorillas were creatures of hidden places and quiet corners. But this one had learned to watch the savanna, because life often crossed its borders in ways that mattered. The gorilla's chest rose and fell with steady breaths. Each breath carried the warm smell of earth and the faint scent of animals moving somewhere beyond sight. He was calm, but not careless. His kind had survived by knowing when to stay still and when to move. On this morning, something made him feel alert, even though he could not yet name it. The baby elephant wandered a few steps ahead of its mother, then looked back, as if to make sure she was still there. The mother's eyes were soft and watchful. She followed closely, never letting the space between them grow too wide. In the wild, a baby's safety is never certain. Every shadow, every sound can mean danger. Still, in this moment, the world felt gentle. The sun was warm but not too hot. The wind was light. The ground, though dry and cracked, felt steady beneath their feet. The baby let out another quiet trumpet and kicked up a small cloud of dust that sparkled in the sunlight. It made the little elephant laugh in its own way, a happy, breathy sound. The gorilla watched this scene from afar. He did not know these elephants, but he understood what he saw. A mother, a child, a fragile bond that held them together in a land that could be kind one minute and cruel the next. His own life had taught him that love in the wild is not soft. It is strong because it must be. As the elephants moved, tiny birds fluttered low over the ground. Some of them suddenly lifted into the air, their wings beating fast. The gorilla noticed this and felt a small tightening in his chest. Birds did not move like that for no reason. Something had made them uneasy. Under the yellow soil, far below where eyes could see, a long, powerful body began to shift. The ground above it pressed down, but the creature beneath was patient. It had waited before. It could wait again. Slow movements traveled through the earth, so slight they could be mistaken for the wind. Yet heavy enough to make the dust tremble, the baby elephant stopped again. It tilted its head, listening. The world was quiet, too quiet. Even the wind seemed to slow. The mother stepped closer and touched her baby with her trunk, a silent message of comfort. She could feel it too, that strange stillness that comes before something changes. The gorilla felt it in his bones. His eyes narrowed as he looked toward the elephants. The light had not changed, and yet everything felt darker somehow. The savannah, so open and bright just moments ago, now seemed to hide something beneath its beauty. He took a slow step forward, his large hands pressing into the yellow soil. Dust rose around his fingers. He did not know what he was moving toward, only that his heart was telling him not to turn away. The baby elephant let out a soft, unsure trumpet. Its mother lifted her head high, scanning the open land. There was nothing to see. No shadow moving, no shape rising. And yet deep inside her, a warning began to grow. A small line appeared in the soil, just for a second, then vanished. If anyone had been watching closely, they might have noticed it. But the savannah often shifts and cracks on its own. It is easy to miss the signs when danger hides below. The gorilla's breath grew slower, heavier. He could hear his own heart now, a steady drum in his chest. His eyes stayed locked on the baby elephant, who was still so small against the wide world. The child took a few more steps, unaware that something unseen was slowly waking beneath its feet. A warm breeze moved across the land, lifting dust and brushing against fur and skin. The sun glowed, painting everything in soft gold. To anyone else, it would have looked like a perfect morning. But the gorilla did not relax. He had lived long enough to know that the most dangerous moments often come wrapped in beauty. He felt a pull inside him, a deep urge to stay alert, to be ready. The baby elephant leaned against its mother's leg, resting for a moment. The mother stood still, her eyes sharp, her body tense in a way only a parent's body can be when it senses something wrong. She did not move, but her muscles were ready to far below them. The slow stirring continued. The savannah seemed to whisper, though no words were spoken. Something was coming. Something that would break the calm, that would test every bond and every heart in this wide. Golden land, the gorilla took another step forward, his gaze never leaving the baby elephant. In his dark eyes, a quiet promise began to form, even though he did not yet know what it would cost. And as the wind brushed over the yellow soil once more, the air grew thick with tension, waiting for the moment when peace would finally give way to danger. The scream came first. It was thin and high, cutting through the air like a sharp cry of fear. The baby elephant's small body jerked as something powerful wrapped around it, pulling it down into a storm of yellow dust. The ground shook. The sky seemed to tilt. For one terrible second, all that could be seen was the baby's wide eye and the dark. Moving coils around its legs, the mother elephant rushed forward, her heart pounding so hard it felt like it might burst. She pushed into the dust, swinging her trunk and stamping her feet, trying to reach her baby. Her breath came out in loud, broken sounds. She could hear her child calling for her. And every call felt like a knife in her chest. Then, just as suddenly, the world seemed to rewind. Only moments before, the savannah had been quiet. The sun had been soft and warm, and the baby elephant had been walking beside its mother, tapping the ground with curious little steps. The air had smelled of dry grass and clean dust. Nothing had seemed wrong. The little one had even tried to chase a drifting leaf, its small trunk reaching out in playful wonder. The mother had watched with calm eyes, proud and gentle, and not far away. The silverback gorilla had been standing still, watching them. He had felt that strange pull in his chest, the feeling that something was about to change. He did not know why. He only knew he could not look away. Now the calm was gone. The ground had split open without warning. A giant snake had risen from beneath the yellow soil like a living shadow. Its long body moved with slow strength as it wrapped around the baby elephant. Dust flew up in thick clouds, making the light look dim and blurry. The baby's small legs kicked, but they were no match for the powerful coils. The mother elephant let out a loud, deep call, a sound filled with fear and anger. She pushed forward again, hitting the snake's body with her trunk. But the snake did not let go. It only tightened, holding the baby closer. The baby elephant cried, its small voice shaking. It tried to lift its head, but the coils made it hard to move. Its eyes were wide and wet, looking for its mother, looking for safety that suddenly felt far away. The savannah was no longer peaceful. The wind picked up, pushing dust into the air. The sounds of struggle filled the open land. The ground trembled as the animals moved. The bright morning light turned harsh and sharp, From a distance, the gorilla saw everything. His heart dropped when he saw the baby elephant trapped. Something inside him felt heavy and cold, like a memory waking up. He had once been small too. He had once needed someone strong to stand between him and danger. He knew the look in the baby's eyes. It was the look of helplessness. The gorilla's large hands tightened into the yellow soil. His muscles tensed. His first instinct was to stay where he was. The snake was dangerous. The savannah could turn deadly in seconds. He had survived by being careful, but the baby's cry cut through all of that. The mother elephant kept fighting. But fear made her moves wild and unsteady. She tried to pull the baby free, but the snake's body
was too strong. Each time she came close, the coils shifted, keeping the baby trapped. Her breath was loud and fast, and her eyes were full of panic. The gorilla took one step forward. It was a slow, heavy step. Dust rose around his feet. His heart was beating fast now, and he could feel it in his ears. Every part of him was warning him that this was not his fight, that he could turn back and be safe. But he did not turn back. He took another step. The baby elephant's cries grew weaker, more tired. The mother made a soft, broken sound, one filled with fear and love. She was running out of ways to help her. Child. The gorilla moved again, closer now, his large body cutting through the drifting dust. The smell of the struggle filled the air, warm and sharp. He could see the snake's long form moving, the way it held the baby tight. His fear was still there. It sat deep in his chest. But something stronger was rising above it. A feeling that this small life mattered. A feeling that sometimes you do not turn away. The savannah seemed to slow as he walked. Each step felt like it took forever. He could hear his own breath, slow and heavy. He could hear the baby's soft cries and the mother's low, desperate calls. He was close enough now to see the baby's eye, wide with fear, close enough to see the dust on its skin and the way its small chest moved. The gorilla stopped at the edge of the struggle. The snake shifted, sensing him. Its body moved slightly, still holding the baby. The dust around them swirled, and the light shone through it in pale beams. For a moment, everything was still. The gorilla stood there, large and quiet, his dark eyes fixed on the trapped baby. The mother elephant watched him too, not knowing what he would do, only knowing she had no more strength left. This was the moment of choice. The gorilla could turn away. He could step back into the open savannah and leave this danger behind. One would blame him. The wild does not ask for heroes, but he did not move away. He leaned forward just a little, his muscles ready, his heart full of something that felt like both fear and courage. The baby elephant's small cry reached him again, soft and shaken. The wind moved gently across the yellow soil. Dust drifted down, settling slowly. And in that quiet, heavy moment, the gorilla made his choice. He would not let the baby face this alone. The savannah held its breath as he took one more step toward the struggle, toward the life that was not his but had somehow become his to protect. The gorilla moved before the world could catch up with him. One moment he was standing at the edge of the struggle, and the next he was rushing forward, his heavy feet striking the yellow soil with deep, steady thumps. Dust flew up around him as he reached the twisting coils of the snake. The baby elephant's soft cries filled the air, thin and scared. And something deep inside the gorilla pushed him on. He grabbed at the snake's body with both arms. The creature was long and strong, its smooth skin sliding under his hands. But the gorilla held on. He pulled with all the strength in his wide chest and thick arms, trying to loosen the tight grip around the baby. The snake shifted, surprised by this new force, and its coils moved just a little. The baby elephant felt the change. Its breathing became a bit easier, and its small cries turned softer, as if it could feel hope coming closer. The mother elephant saw it too. She stepped forward, her eyes locked on her child, her body ready to move the moment there was space. The snake turned part of its long body toward the gorilla. It was not used to being challenged like this. The air felt heavy, and the dust swirled around all of them. The savannah, so wide and bright before, now felt small and tight, like everything was happening inside a single, quiet breath. The gorilla did not let go. He placed himself between the snake and the baby elephant, using his own body as a shield. His muscles were tight, his jaw set, his eyes focused only on the trapped child. He could feel the snake's strength pressing against him, but he stayed. For a moment, the world seemed to slow. The baby elephant's cries faded to small, shaky sounds. The mother reached in, gently but quickly, using her trunk to pull her child toward her. The snake's coils loosened just enough for the baby's tiny legs to slip free. With a soft, surprised sound, the baby rolled into its mother's waiting space. The mother elephant wrapped her trunk around her child, pulling it close to her chest. She let out a low, deep sound, full of relief and love. The baby leaned into her, still shaking, but safe. The gorilla could have turned away then. Kudo stepped back and left the danger behind. But the snake was still there, its long body moving, its attention now on him. If he moved away too soon, it might turn back toward the baby. So he stayed. He stood tall, his wide shoulders lifted, his dark eyes calm and steady. The snake shifted again, focused on this new, strong figure standing in its way. The gorilla made himself the center of its attention, drawing it away from the small, fragile life behind him. The mother elephant did not waste a second. With her baby held close, she began to move away across the yellow soil. Each step was careful, but she did not stop. The baby's head rested against her, its eyes half closed, tired from fear but warm with safety. As they moved farther, the sounds of the struggle grew softer. The dust began to settle, falling slowly back to the ground. The wind returned, gentle and steady, brushing over fur and skin. Big Gorilla kept his place until he was sure the baby was far enough away. Only then did he slowly step back, never turning his eyes from the snake until there was more space between them. The snake, sensing that the moment had passed, began to retreat. Its long body slid back into the earth, disappearing into the yellow soil as quietly as it had come. The savannah slowly returned to itself. Silence fell. The gorilla stood alone, his chest rising and falling as he caught his breath. The air smelled of dust and warm ground. The light from the sun painted soft shadows around him. And for the first time since the chaos began, the land felt wide and open again. In the distance, the mother elephant and her baby had stopped. The baby was still pressed close to her, but it lifted its head just a little, as if looking back. The mother turned too, her large eyes meeting the gorilla's across the open savannah. For a brief, quiet moment, they simply looked at each other, so no sound passed between them. No words were needed. There was only a shared understanding, a simple truth written in their eyes. Life had been protected. A small heart was still beating. The mother elephant touched her baby gently with her trunk, then slowly turned and led it farther away, back toward safety. Their shapes grew smaller against the wide, yellow land, until they were just two soft figures moving through the light. The gorilla watched them go. He felt tired now, not just in his body, but deep inside. The danger was gone, but the weight of what had happened still rested on him. He lowered himself to the ground, sitting in the dust. The sun warmed his fur, and the wind cooled his skin. Around him, the savannah was quiet. A few birds returned, landing lightly on the ground. The air smelled clean again, as if the land itself was breathing easier. The gorilla closed his eyes for a moment. He did not know why he had acted the way he did. He only knew that when the baby had cried, something inside him had answered. Maybe it was memory. Maybe it was kindness. Maybe it was just the simple truth that some lives feel too important to let go. When he opened his eyes, the elephants were gone from sight, but their presence still felt close, like a warm echo in the air. The sun continued its slow path across the sky. Dust drifted lazily over the yellow soil. Life moved on, as it always does in the wild dot, and in the middle of that wide, quiet land, a gorilla sat alone, calm and steady, having given something of himself so that another small heart could keep beating. The savannah did not clap or cheer. It never does. But it held the moment, soft and still, as if honoring a quiet act of courage. Somewhere far away, a baby elephant walked beside its mother, safe again, and the wind carried that truth across the golden earth, gentle and sure.